Last month, a couple of my friends created a citywide independent bookstore crawl that took place here in Indianapolis. This idea is basically just like a bar crawl where you'd go drinking from bar to bar, but only we made it bookish. Over 20 indie bookstores participated in this event last month from the 21st through the 24th, and I was actually lucky enough to co-host the kickoff party on that Thursday night with Nathan from Schizophrenic Reads. We hung out at Tomorrow Bookstore with the lovely owners, Jake and Julia, and so many local book lovers. It was such an amazing night. We had a champagne toast, there was snacks, there was good vibes, there was so many great things about that evening, except the fact that later that night, around midnight, I got violently ill. Whatever stomach bug was going around at that time, I came down with it big time. And I was couchbound for the rest of that weekend. Worst timing ever. It was awful. The only good thing that came out of it was that I watched Bridgerton for the first time, and stellar, 10 out of 10. We got these cute little bookmarks that we were supposed to get like stamps and stickers from every single bookstore that we visited. I have one just from that one singular night at the kickoff party. And it's been haunting me since. So what we're doing today is we're doing our own little independent bookstore crawl. I won't be able to get to all of the locations, but over the next couple days, we're going to visit as many as we can. Okay, the first stop is going to be the post office. I have to check my P.O. box, and I also need to get some stamps. So here we are. We got those things. It was an order that I bought on Pingo Books. I'll open this later and include it in the end of the video book haul after we have visited all of these stores. But first, we're going to Loudmouth Bookstore, which is owned by Leah Johnson. I have not been yet, so I'm really excited. Loudmouth was so cute. I had a little trouble parking, but now that I know where to go, I will be visiting quite often. That was such a great store. They do so much for the youth. They have something called Camp Loudmouth. Like everything that they have built is so awesome. I got 3 books from Loudmouth, and then I realized that I need to start pacing myself. So I cut myself off at 3. We're gonna stop into Dream Palace Books now. They have a coffee bar. I think they might have snacks too, because I need a coffee and I also need a snack. And we'll also see what kind of books they have. Okay, no books were bought at Dream Palace, but I did get my snack and coffee, which is just as important. We just got to our next stop. It is Ujima Community Bookstore. There's someone parking right next to me. Love that for us. I've heard great things about this bookstore, so we're gonna go in because this truck is right next to us. Let's go. Okay, so I just drove 30 minutes to Franklin, which is home to Wild Geese Bookshop, and I've been wanting to come here for so long. I'm really excited to go inside. This town is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's so crazy because it's giving me the vibes of my hometown where I grew up. I feel really strange being here, like in a good way. So we're gonna go inside here in a moment just to check in on our book count. I got 4 books, 3 books and 1 poetry collection from Ujima Community Bookstore. They were also so great. I'm loving this. I'm loving this so much. Getting to experience all of these local indies that I have not had the opportunity to visit yet. We've been super successful at every stop we've made today, whether it be books or coffee. And now we're gonna go into this one. Wow, what a time to be alive. This is so fun. Like, look at this. Look at this little bookstore. It's in a house. It's so cute. I can't even handle it. Let's go inside. I've been in here for a total of like 4 minutes and I already have 4 books in my hands. This is dangerous. Guys, we did way too much damage in that one. Ah! 6. I got 6 books. It was just too good. Okay, like I've loved the energy of Loudmouth and Ujima so much, but something about being in this town, it's just so nostalgic, even though it has no reason being nostalgic because I've never been here in my life. Oh my God, it was just so cute. And they had so many books that I've been interested in. I literally can't even speak. And they had stickers and they had notepads. Guys. Wow, this is like, is this the best book haul of my life? In the bag you go. Okay, this one's like bursting at the seams. We'll put these cute little paperbacks right on top. Yes, I did also get stickers and a little box and notepad, and we'll talk about it later, all right? We'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it right now. And we still have to go to another one. Okay, but okay, here's the thing. This is too exciting. The last bookstore of today that we're going to has a lot of used books. I need to give myself a stipulation. So at this last bookstore, it's going to be called Red Dog Books. My rule now at this last one is going to be I can only buy like used or thrifted books. Okay, no more brand new ones. We'll see if I stick to it, but that's the last one that we're going to today. And then we have to get groceries. But wow. Wow. Let's go. Okay, well, it's a good thing that I made that stipulation that I could only buy used books because they were all used books. I didn't have like any luck though. I mean, I did buy like these things. I'll just tell you now. It's all Shakespeare plays. The Merchant of Venice, King Lear, Macbeth, Hamlet. This edition's really cool. Timon of Athens. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty. And then Much Ado About Nothing. They were having a buy 3 get 2 free sale, so okay. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I've actually wanted to own some Shakespeare because I do love like pretentious dark academia, and they always seem to reference Shakespeare because, I mean, it makes sense. But that being said, I don't own any, and this was a really good opportunity to get some. I went in hoping to get some like classic fantasy. They didn't have any. They had a lot, but not of authors that I immediately recognized. I was really overwhelmed with how the store was kind of set up. I didn't really know what to do with myself. And plus, anything that I did find that I was remotely interested in, it was like book 4 or something in the series, and just like, why would I get it, you know? But I'm at the grocery store. I'm about to go in and just get like bare bones necessities because there are already too many people around me, and I need to go home because I'm doing sprints with Sarah. My Patreon is joining her Patreon for sprints today, and that's in about 40 minutes. So I need to get some groceries and get home in order to start sprints on time. So here we go. Okay, we made it back home. Sarah and I have been sprinting for a few hours now. Caleb's home from work. We walked Avi. We did our whole little evening routine. We're doing our last sprint right now. I haven't been able to read during these reading sprints, but you know, it's fine. I hope to read sometime later tonight. But we are in the midst of cooking dinner. We have some rice going. I'm going to be chopping some veggies. Caleb's getting the ginger and everything ready. We're gonna have some sort of stir fry. Day 1 of Sydney's independent indie bookstore crawl was very successful. This is a very full tote bag of books, and I'm really excited to talk to you about them. But we're just going to make and eat dinner, have ourselves a little evening, and then I will see you again tomorrow. And we'll see what bookstores we are going to hit up. Good morning. We're on to day 2. Today we're only going to 2 different stores. They're both up north of Indianapolis. The first one is going to be Curious Squirrel Bookstore. Very cute. They advertise that they do some sort of like mystery box. I think it's like a recommendation box, but I'm wondering if they do blind date with a book as well, because that would be pretty fun. Either way, we're gonna get going and drive about 30 minutes. Okay, so there was actually 2 bookstores on the same exact block. The second one, Black Dog Books, did indeed have a black dog. Her name was Sadie, and she was very sweet. My legs have a lot of dog spit on them now. That store was mostly like antiquities, rare books, and they had a lot of like maps and stuff. It was very cool, but I didn't end up getting anything from there. From the first bookstore, Curious Squirrel, I did get 2 books, so I will tell you about them later. We are going to be on our way to the next one, which is MacArthur Books. So this was a very quick stop. This town is Zionsville, and it's very pretty. I don't think I've ever been in their like downtown area, so I don't know, this was nice. Curious Squirrel was cool because I think that the vast majority, if not all of them, were queer books, and it was great. Excited for the 2 that I did pick up. So let's drive now 12 minutes or so to MacArthur Books and see what they got going on. Okay, so what, Okay, so what my issue is that no bookstores have the fantasy books that I want. Okay, that's really dramatic. Of course they do, because of course I've bought fantasy books from a lot of local indies. I'm being dramatic because I'm looking for a couple in particular and they never seem to have them. One in particular that I've been looking for from the very beginning, even whenever I go to Barnes & Noble, I'm looking for Joe Abercrombie. And I know like Barnes & Noble has him, but every single time I go, they only have like further books in series. They never have the first one. And I know I could order it, but I've like made it my life's mission to find like the blade itself in person in the wild, and I have yet to do so. I had high hopes for MacArthur Books for that purpose, and their bookstore was really beautiful. They had a really great selection of just like general fiction, but their fantasy selection was very small. It was roped in together with sci-fi. It was like sci-fi fantasy, and which is fine. That's fine to categorize, but like it was like one shelf. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but good vibes. The bookseller also gave me like a couple sticker sheets, which was really cute because I was sick during the original book crawl and I work the weekend of Independent Bookstore weekend on the 27th. So she felt bad for me. She was like, let me give you some treats. And a cute bookmark, it says booksellers, not algorithms, which is fun. I did get 2 books from MacArthur Books, so that put the total for today to 4 books. Relatively all short books today, which is kind of exciting. Whilst driving around, I've been listening to Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I'm vlogging this for an exclusive video for my Patreon, and then I also brought the book that I'm physically reading, which is Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wong, and that's really what's on the docket for the rest of the day. I'm gonna go home, walk Avi, and then just like get comfy and sit on the couch and hopefully just read for the rest of the night because I've got some pages that I need to catch up on. Overall, day 2, I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm excited about all 4 of these titles. I really am. And I will say out loud, I'm looking for like underground fantasy recommendations. Fantasy authors that you would consider classics. You know, there's George R.R. Martin, there's obviously like Brandon Sanderson, Robin Hobb, Joe Abercrombie. Like, I don't know who you consider classic, but also just like, I want some new fantasy. I do. I'm itchy for it. In the meantime, I'm gonna go sate that hunger and read the fantasy books that I'm currently reading. Good morning, welcome to day 3. This is quite the marathon. I'm excited for the bookstores that we're going to today. Some of them are some of my favorites. I haven't been to some of them in a while, and then the first one we're going to, I have not been to yet. It's called Golden Hour Books, and it's up in, I think by like Broad Ripple, and it looks really, really nice. So I'm excited to go check it out. I think we're going to surprise Caleb and bring him some like lunch and coffee at the house that he's working at. I did that yesterday too. I didn't film any of that, but I got him lunch and I brought him lunch and coffee yesterday, but we're gonna try to do it again today. What I'm looking for today, maybe less known fantasy books, especially at one of the locations, Irvington Vinyl and Books. They do a lot of like thrifty books as well as some new finds, but I have like tentatively high hopes for that location. I usually do get lucky there. Maybe some horror, like, I don't know. I'm really open to anything for these final few visits, but I'm really wanting to find some fantasy. So that's really what I want to do today. So let's see if we can. So I got 3 books from Golden Hour Books, and now I'm sitting outside the next location, which is Irvington Vinyl and Books. The one that I'm really excited about going to because I haven't been here in a while, and they have a lot of thrifted stuff, and their closed sign is still up, and they opened at noon, and it's 12:17. I've been here since noon. I was like, oh, maybe I'll give her like a little bit of time. Maybe she's just like running a little bit behind. I don't want to go like knocking on the door at noon, but now I don't know what the etiquette is. Like, it's 12:17. It's been 17 minutes. Is that enough time to go try the door handle? What do I do here? I checked the Instagram. It doesn't say like we're closed for the day or anything like that. And on Google, it says that they're open. The sign says otherwise. I feel like it's been long enough to like try the handle. Wait, I think she's, oh, I see. It's funny because I know the owner. She just pulled in. Okay, so I'm gonna give her like 10 more minutes. I'll just like sit here and read because of course I brought my own book that I'm currently in the middle of. We're readers, of course I brought a book. Wow, I love that. Now I feel like I should hide though, because she has to come like kind of in front of my car in order to get inside. This is the second time that this has happened to me at this location. Story time. Last time, like, I was there right at the time that it opened, and she had not yet unlocked the door, so I went to try to open the door, and it was definitely locked, and then I sat in my car for 5 minutes, and when she finally unlocked the door, we made eye contact, and I looked like a little goblin in my front seat, and then it was weird, but I still went in. Now it's 12:19. I feel like I should wait until, like, 25. let her like get her bearings inside the shop. I'm just glad that she's actually going to be open today because I was really excited. And I'm hoping I'm not hyping this store up in my mind because I have been unlucky here before, but I feel like the vast majority of times it's been good. I mean, like, it's always a good store, but like sometimes, you know, you just don't get lucky every time you go to a store. I'm rambling. I'm gonna turn this off now. I'll see you inside. Okay, so I didn't have any luck in there today, but Caleb did have luck in there today, and I was really excited because I did find The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. This is a book. I thought that we would be stopped at the stoplight for longer. But basically, whenever Caleb actually has an answer for me on like something I can look for him, it's like really exciting. I really want to deliver, and I was able to. They had it, and I'm really excited to surprise him and show him, especially because it's like a really pretty edition. I think typically like he likes a mass market paperback. Like he's a very like simple boy, so I don't know if he will actually like love the special edition, but like it's kind of exciting regardless that they had it, so he'll be appreciative no matter what. I am about to stop at a place called Dear Mom, which was also on the book crawl list, and also at the coffee shop that's right nearby. So I need to parallel park here. Give me a moment. The guy behind me wouldn't let me parallel park, so that was really cool. Guess we'll find a different parking spot, grab some coffee, hopefully a snack, and then go see Caleb at work. Was very excited that I found the book. Lunch was tasty, my dirty chai was tasty, and now we are on our way to the final location of this little edited indie bookstore crawl. This final stop is called Indie Reads. It's located in Fountain Square, and it's a great one. They also do have some used books, so there is some hope for some old school fantasy. I'm not gonna hold out any hope anymore. My hopes were dashed, but I still think that we could have some luck here. So let's park and make our way inside. Home now. The book crawl is officially over for me. I'd say we were pretty gosh darn successful. We have 2 very full tote bags. I don't know how much we're gonna have to count at the very end. I spent way too much time at the last stop, Indie Reads, because they did have a pretty good sci-fi fantasy old like thrift collection, and I think I looked at every single book like 5 times. There were some that I was like relatively interested in, but there was none that were like first book in a series. They were all like further down the road, so I wasn't gonna buy the books that are later in the series if I don't even know if I liked book 1. So ultimately I didn't find anything like that. How we're gonna go about this book haul is I'm going to go through like every store that we went to and show you what I got from each one. We're gonna start with Indie Reads, the last one we just went to, because at the very end of my visit there, I found that they had Blind Date with a Book. It seemed pretty picked over, like I didn't have much to choose from, but I did choose this. And I thought about saving this one till the end, but I just can't wait. I have to figure out what it is. It says it's historical fiction, Japan, early 1900s, story of love, sacrifice, ambition, and loyalty. And I'm intrigued. I'm wondering if I already have it. Let's see. Okay, stop. I knew it was gonna be this. I already own this book. Here's the thing, this is a 5-star read for me. Okay, like I knew, and I still bought it because I was like, okay, let me just show you. It's Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. When I saw that description, I was like, oh my God, that sounds like Pachinko. I was like, maybe it's a book that's like Pachinko, and then I'll have a great time because I love this book. It's a 5-star read. That's hilarious. I'll be putting this on my Pingo books because I already own it. It's literally right there. You can't see it. It's literally right there. That's really funny. Okay, well, at least I knew that I would be into that description, I guess. And then as I was walking to checkout with that Blind Date with a Book, I actually found a book that was on my list of ones that I was looking for during this book crawl, and I saw it last minute, and I'm so excited about it. It is You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arafat. So many of the indie bookstores had a little like Palestinian voices table, and it was really great to see. This one was sitting there kind of like on the side. Like I saw the table when I walked in, but but I walked around the right side and it was actually on the left side of the table. So I saw it as I was walking to checkout and I got so excited because, again, I made a list and this was on there. Since there are so many books to get through and this vlog is already probably very long, we're gonna do like gists of what the books are about. This says it's opening up the fantasies and desires of one young woman caught between cultural, religious, and sexual identities. You Exist Too Much is a captivating story charting two of our most intense longings for love and a place to call home. I've heard really, really good things about it and I think that I could really, really love it. Was very excited about this. And so technically we got these two books from Indie Reads. This is funny. This is exciting. I mean, this is exciting too because whatever. I'm gonna try my best to remember exactly what books were from which store. Let me go through them and make piles actually. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I definitely remembered what books were from what store. So where do I start? Let's start at Curious Squirrel bookstore. I got two littler sci-fi fantasies, and the first one is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This is like such a amazing size of a little book. It's the first book in I believe a trilogy, and the little blurb says she left her home for the stars but found more adventure than she bargained for. A tense and intimate coming-of-age story in space. Love a coming-of-age story. Always looking for like sci-fi books that really grip me because I'm not often in a sci-fi mood, but I have heard good things about this series. This first book in particular. So I'm excited. I'm excited to try it out and I was excited to see it sitting there. Next at that store, we got The Emperor and the Endless Palace by Justinian Huang. This was on my anticipated spring releases video and I didn't know that it was going to be so short. I actually was excited to see that. What if I told you that the feeling we call love is actually the feeling of metaphysical recognition when your soul remembers someone from a previous life? It is a genre-bending romantic thriller that challenges everything we know about true love, and it is basically surrounding those things. Like our two main characters are finding each other in every single life that they are living, and it's sort of that like metaphysical connection that's like drawing them to each other each time. And I think that idea, that concept is very, very fun, and I've seen some good reviews on it so far, so I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Next store was MacArthur Books, and this was in Carmel. First one I got was The Crane Husband by Kelly Barnhill. If you remember watching my Giving Authors a Second Chance video, this is the book that I read from that because I didn't like the previous book I read by this author, but I checked every book for that video out from the library, so I didn't have my own copy. And when I saw it sitting on the shelf, I got really excited and I really just wanted my own copy because this is one that I would love to reread and annotate. So our main character is a young girl who's trying to keep her family together and her mother is sort of like not attentive. One day she brings home this man and he is depicted as a crane, and everything that this book did, I absolutely loved. Plus it's very short. Again, read this if you like magical realism because it was really special. It was really special. Then I got Clear by Karis Davies. I love this cover so much. It is so stunning. Oh my god, I didn't know there was a little like teapot in there. That's actually really fun. Interesting. This book basically talks about the Scottish clearances in which communities of the rural poor were driven from their homes by landowners. And in the story, we're following a minister who takes a job evicting a farmer who I think is living as like the only man on this island. Yes, it's following the two men on a remote island. And it is stunning, unpredictable, always hovering just on the edge of tragedy. It's unforgettable narrative of resilience, change, and hope. What originally drew me to this was the cover, and then finding out that it's a Scottish book and it's just them on this remote island. Like I think that it could be very like atmospheric and beautiful. So I'm really excited about it. Caleb also thinks that he would read this one too, so even better. Okay, we're gonna go with the biggest, okay. Biggest stack yet. This was from Wild Geese bookstore, and this was a dangerous store, and I can't wait to go back to this one particularly. Like I want to bring Caleb there. We're gonna spend a day down in, was it Franklin? I don't know. It was a great time. I got The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This is the second book in the Thursday Murder Club series. Cozy mystery, amazing characters. I love this. I can't wait to pick it up and continue the series. Then I had to, mostly because of the black sprayed edges, The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I love Leigh Bardugo. I think she's one of my favorite authors. Of course I'm gonna get her newest book. Oh, I forgot I got stickers too. I'll show you the stickers, but look at these end papers. Wow. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I know absolutely nothing about The Familiar. I just know that I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. I know that it had some early reviews that were really positive. It's giving vampire vibes. God bless Leigh. On her own book on Goodreads, she says that it is a historical fantasy set in the 16th century Madrid. Adult standalone. Oh my god, stunning. I am so happy. I didn't know this was a standalone. This is iconic. I'm even more excited now. It's inspired by her own family history, and this one she only worked on at night, which is interesting. And it's giving vampire. I'm pretty sure it's vampires. Cause like I know a familiar could be like a witch familiar, like an animal, you know, but like this is vampire. There's like the font, it has to be. Then I got this cute little guy, The Fellowship of the Puzzle Makers by Samuel Burr. I really like it. I'm really excited about it. Listen to this little blurb at the bottom, okay? The Fellowship of Puzzle Makers is pure joy. It is a story about love and family and what it means to find your people no matter what age you are. Is that not the cutest thing in the world? It really kind of is. Our main character is Clayton. He's in his 20s, but he dresses like your grandpa and fusses like your aunt. It's so cute. He was raised by the people in this Fellowship of Puzzle Makers, and someone dies, I think, and when she passes away, she bestows a final puzzle piece to him, a promise to reveal the mystery of his parentage and prepare him for life beyond the walls of the commune. So he's set to uncover those secrets, and I just get like really good vibes from it. I think it could be really fun. Likewise, The Sicilian Inheritance by Joe Piazza. Many of these were on my anticipated releases videos, so that's been really fun to like find them organically in the wild and not order them. This one is a mystery thriller. The synopsis is actually very long. I'm just going to tell you the buzzwords that made me pick it up, okay? It's an immersive, multi-generational mystery and an ode to the undaunted heroism of the everyday woman. It is an atmospheric, page-turning delight. Atmospheric, multi-generational is a big one. I don't know what it is, but I really do love a story that like spans across multiple generations. And I just love like living through other people's lineages. I think it's super fun and interesting. And it gives you a lot of insight into like your main characters. So those in addition to the setting that is Sicily. Like how fun to have all of these things taking place in a fun place like Sicily. I'm really excited about it. Plus that cover, look at this cover. Wow. Okay, two more from this same singular bookstore. The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. I think this cover is so fun. And it's basically about this woman who comes home one day to a man that says that he's her husband. And she's like, I don't know who you are. I never married you. But there's like pictures and everything like all around the house like proving that like he's not lying. So immediately I was like, oh, so she has amnesia or some sort of memory issue. But no, because he goes up to the attic to change a light bulb and then he never comes back down, and in his place a different guy comes back down, and then like the physical world that she's in changes and now he's her husband. So like she finds out that there's something up with her attic and she just has like multiple husbands on repeat like until she chooses one basically. And I really like this concept because it is the classic thought that like if you have too many options, you're never going to be happy because you'll always think like, what if I chose something different? And I think it's really important to like be happy with what you have. Obviously it's not that simple, but like in that, you know, vein of thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? I really like what this book could tackle, especially in this like silly, goofy way. Then another book that I saw at checkout. This is a little collection by Mary Oliver, Devotions. I wanted a poetry collection by Mary Oliver, and it was sitting there at checkout. And I was like, oh my God, would you look at that? I will take it, thank you. This is it. This is just a poetry collection of Mary Oliver poems, and I like poetry. I saw a couple of random poems probably on Instagram or something, and I was like, oh, I like what she's talking about, how she's talking about them. I like her prose, whatever it may be, and I'm excited. And so here it is. Okay, next. We have 3 from Loudmouth Books. First is Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. I've seen this book so many times and I don't know what it was this final time. You know what? I do know what it was. I actually read the synopsis in the store and realized that it sounds really good. So this is an indigenous thriller, takes place on a res. It's part propulsive thriller and part mythological horror. It's an incisive novel of life as an outcast, the cost of forgetting tradition, and the courage it takes to become who you were always meant to be. I mean, it sounds phenomenal. The synopsis talks about people disappearing, demons, and also legends within this tribe's past, and I am just very interested. Mad that I haven't owned it yet, but excited that I now do. Next, I got Amanda Montell's new book, and it's The Age of Magical Overthinking, and I loved Cultish by her. I think she's phenomenal, and I think that this book cover is one of my favorites of the entire year. It is just so beautiful. It says Montel's prevailing message is one of hope and ultimately forgiveness for our anxiety-addled human selves. If you often feel baffled by others' irrational choices, but also struggle to understand your own, if you find it difficult simply to tolerate existing as a human in this cultural moment, Montel aims to make some sense of the senselessness, to crack open a window in our minds and let in some fresh air, to help soften the harshness of life in the information age enough to see beauty in it. And I could not be more excited about it. I think this sounds so great. Last one from Loudmouth I got is He, She, They by Skylar Baylor. This is a nonfiction and I'm really excited to pick this up sometime soon. It's how we talk about gender and why it matters. It says he didn't set out to be an activist, but his very public transition to the Harvard's men's swim team put him in the spotlight. His choice to be open about his journey and share his experience has touched people around the world, and his plain spoken education has evolved into tireless advocacy for inclusion and collective liberation. At the end, it says, it also speaks to trans folks directly and answers the question, does it get better? With a resounding yes, celebrating radical trans joy, myth-busting, affirmating, compassionate, and fierce. He, She, They is a crucial, urgent, and life-saving book that forever changes the conversation about gender. I think this sounds amazing. I can't wait to pick it up. I'm gonna see if maybe he also narrates the audiobook, and if there is an audiobook, that would be phenomenal. Next, one of the stops today was called Dear Mom, and it was so cute. It had a little like market inside as well. I don't think I got any B-roll of that, but there was a couple like refrigerators that had some fresh produce, little like CBD drinks, and there was a lot of like magazines and different types of media to buy. And I actually found The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. Is it Dashiell? Listen, I saw Megan from Meg with Books read this in a vlog, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure she really liked it. It's a murder mystery. I'm in my murder mystery era. I have never even seen this book before I saw Megan read it, and then I just found it randomly in this like little wire rack in this random little store. I definitely couldn't leave it there. It came home with me. It says The Maltese Falcon is not only probably the best detective story we have ever read, it's an exceedingly well-written novel. That's exciting. Then today I also went to Golden Hour Books, which was very, very pretty. I got Kudos by Rachel Cusk. This is the third book in this trilogy, so there is Outline, Transit, and Kudos. I love that she does this. In the spine, the book that you're holding is what is in bold. So I have Outline somewhere up there. So Outline would be in bold. This is the third book, Kudos. I would have gotten the second one, which is Transit, but they didn't have it. I don't think you have to read these in order. I probably still will, but I was just excited to see Rachel Cusk because that's the first bookstore out of all of these that I have found her. The bookseller also said that they are getting 2 copies of Transit in soon, so I might just like bebop my way up there and get Transit as well whenever it comes in. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely not gonna read this before the second one because it said that there does have a startling conclusion of this groundbreaking trilogy, so that's good that I now know that. I probably wouldn't have read it anyways before I read the second one, that is. But in the first book, in Outline, it was basically just a bunch of conversations and a little bit of a deep dive into how we tell our stories to other people, and it was just like stream of consciousness, very beautiful. I really took so much away from it. It didn't make it to like my top 10 of last year, but I do think of it so fondly, and I can't wait to continue this series. Next, I got A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. I'm really excited about it. This I think is pitched as like Six of Crows meets something else. What is it? Oh my god, someone in their review says Peaky Blinders with vampires? Wait, are you joking? I didn't know that comparison. That sounds like the best thing in the whole world. But I also heard that it's like Six of Crows vibes too, because there is a heist. Heist-fueled plot, hints of romance, cast of endearing characters. I know there's a found family, and it's cozy. Like there's tea involved, and like, I don't know. I've heard great things. It's the first in a series. I'm really excited about it. Then the last book from that location was actually for Caleb. I got him A Philosophy of Walking by, is it Frederick Gross? A cute little philosophy-fueled book. I think he would really like it. He was excited about it. I showed him the 2 books that I got him when I brought lunch to him today. But it literally says this book will change how you think about walking and how you walk while you are thinking. It lists off a bunch of philosophers that they talk about within this book, and Caleb majored, one of his 3 majors in college was philosophy, so he knows all these people. I can't even pronounce their names half the time, all the time, who understood that great ideas came to them while on foot. And I think that he could get a lot out of it. Maybe I will read a couple passages as well. But yeah, I was excited to bring that to him. The other thing I got him from Irvington Vinyl and Books, the one that I was, you know, waiting outside for the bookseller to show up. I wasn't wasn't lucky there, but like I said, I was really excited to find Caleb's book, the one that he really wanted me to bring home to him. And it's a special edition. It's stunning. It is The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, and I don't know a single thing about it. Is it philosophy? Is it sci-fi? I literally have no idea whatsoever. I didn't ask questions. This little thing was inside it as well, like really pretty. I don't know, but this is for Caleb. Okay, the last place that I haven't talked about in this wrap up was Ujamaa Community Bookstore. Really excited about this cute little stack. I got this poetry collection called Build Yourself a Boat by Camyon Felix. The little blurb at the top says, "Build Yourself a Boat redefines the language of collective and individual trauma through lyric and memory." I loved that, but I also loved just like the title, Build Yourself a Boat. Like in my mind, it kind of means like you have to save yourself. Like you have to build yourself a boat in order to like grow and get better from any sort of trauma that you're experiencing. So even if the poet meant something else by that, and I will learn that while reading it, I immediately liked how I felt while thinking about this collection. So I am really excited to pick it up. Then I got two of Hanif Abdurraqib's books. I do have They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us, but I also got A Little Devil in America, as well as his new book, There's Always This Year, on basketball and ascension. One of my good friends, Nathan, who is Schizophrenic Reads over on Bookstagram, but also on YouTube. He made a channel recently, so go follow him. This is one of his favorite authors, if not his favorite author. And he is the nonfiction king. If you need nonfiction recs, he is who you should go to. I trust him wholeheartedly. Also, I know that Kayla from Books and Lala also read A Little Devil in America, I think last year. This one focuses on Black performance, and this one talks about basketball and how we think about culture, our country, and ourselves. I was really excited to find both of these at Ujamaa. I'm desperately trying to go fast because my camera is overheating. I also did get Beloved by Toni Morrison, which I shouldn't have gotten because I didn't know Caleb already had a copy, but now I have my own. So here it is, Beloved by Toni Morrison. I haven't read by her yet, so I'm excited to have my own copy and start that journey. Oh, and then I already showed you all of these Shakespeare books that I got from Red Dog Books, the like more thrift store that really stressed me out. But I got Timon of Athens, this beautiful edition of Hamlet. Wow, stunning. Macbeth, of course, King Lear, The Merchant of Venice, as well as Much Ado About Nothing. I was really excited about all three of these, honestly. 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about 6, Sydney? They were having a buy 3, get 2 free sale. So here we are, slinging the deals. I have to go get a new battery and let my camera cool down. So give me a moment, but I got stickers and a little notepad, so let me show you, 1 second. Okay, I'm going to show you those goodies, but I'm a liar and I did not even include the books that I got from the very first stop of this entire book crawl when the book crawl was actually happening, because if you remember, I helped co-host the kickoff party at Tomorrow Bookstore, which is who created this entire thing. So let me show you the books that I got on that Thursday night at Tomorrow. First one is Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? I read Normal People, really liked it. I'm excited to have another one. Oh, I love this like end photo with the mail. This and a little apple in the beginning. So cute. It just honestly sounds like I could really enjoy it. Then I got Minor Detail by Adanya Shibley. I read this via audio last year and just really liked it. Phenomenal audiobook if you are ever looking for one. But I wanted a physical copy. I wanted to own it because I think the writing was so stunning. And I was really excited to see it sitting there. Then this last one I got because of Nathan. He said it's his favorite fiction book ever, and he always recommends it. I've never heard of it. I've never seen anyone on here talk about it, but that doesn't mean it's not good. So please let me know if you know of this book. It is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I know absolutely nothing, but this was the second time that Nathan told me to buy it, and I bought it. It is book 1 of the Neapolitan Quartet. It's a quartet. And now that does conclude the book crawl haul. But I also told you I would show you what was in that Pango Books order in the very beginning of the video, if you don't remember. I got Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, as well as Things We Hide from the Light. This was basically so that I could get free shipping on this book, Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. I have Strange the Dreamer. I needed the sequel, and why pay $5 in shipping when I can pay $10 for 2 more books and then get free shipping? I don't know, it didn't make sense. I shouldn't have done this, because also kind of mad. I think they were listed as like new, and these spines are like, they're definitely not like new. But these are the 3 I got from Pango. Then 2 really exciting books that I want to show you are 2 of my friends have published books, and y'all need to go check them out immediately. This first one is A Little Bit Extra by Courtney Corlew. This will be a romance trilogy called A January Studios novel, and it is so cute. She sent it with all of these little goodies, little tabs, and tells you what to use the colors for, a bookmark with the characters, little printouts with the characters on them, and then a bunch of really cute stickers. Forced Proximity, we have a little clapper, little tea bag, a director chair because it is a celebrity romance, forced proximity, found family, workplace romance, he falls first, secret dating, all of these amazing tropes, and also slow burn. Wow, love that sticker. So we have this cutie little romance novel, which is out on April 30th, I believe. Then coming out in August of this year is Miss Hayley Denning's This Ravenous Fate. Wow, stunning. Like, look at these end papers. Are you kidding? This is real enemies to lovers, black sapphic vampires, and I don't think I need to say anything else. I will also say, actually, it's 1920s Harlem, which is even more exciting. I cannot wait to pick this up soon and give you guys a little like early sneak peek. Since we're doing a book haul, I'm also going to include How Far the Light Reaches by Sabrina Imbler. This was gifted to me by my bestie Steph. Love her so much. I was having a pretty rough go at it in March, if you don't remember, and she sent me this book. It's a nonfiction that profiles 10 of the ocean's strangest creatures between their lives and ours, and illuminating wondrous models of survival, adaptation, identity, sex, and care of our faltering planet. I think it sounds really awesome. And then listen. At Tamara Bookstore, they held an ARC auction night. They called it an ARCtion. If you don't know what an ARC is, it's advanced reader copy. And I got these ARCs, a bunch of ARCs. First one is out on April 29th, and it is Death in the Air by Ram Morali. This is White Lotus meets Knives Out meets Crazy Rich Asians in this devilishly entertaining debut. All of those descriptors sound so much fun. I probably won't get to it before the publication date, but it's still very fun to have this. I also love the cover. On May 21st, we have Cecilia by K. Ming Chong. It's an erotic, surreal novella. It is a winding, misty road trip through a bodily transformation, inextricable histories of violence and love, and the ghosts of girl friendship. I think it's sapphic horror, is what I remember my friend Julia, who owns the bookstore, that's what she kind of pitched this as, and I bid on it. We all had Monopoly money, and we were bidding on which arcs we wanted. It was so much fun. Actually, it was really tragic because I am a lover, not a fighter, and I lost so many good arcs because I couldn't be aggressive enough. Bitter Water Opera by Nicolette Pollack. Oh, it's already published on April 16th. Electrifying debut novel about art, solitude, family, and faith in a world without it. I loved this cover so much. This one is out in May of 2024. It is How It Works Out by Miriam LaCroix. Look at that cover. So beautiful. Surreal, darkly comic, and achingly tender, Marion LaCroix's exuberant debut sees a queer love story play out in many alternative realities. Equal parts sexy and profane, unsentimental and gut-wrenching, it's genre-bending, arresting, uncanny exploration of queerness, love, and our drive for connection in all and any possible worlds. Hello? Sounds great. Listen, State of Paradise by Laura Vanderberg. Look at this cover. So cool. This comes out January, February, March, April, May, June, July 9th, 2024. In Florida, a summer storm can feel like the end of the world is being summoned. These storms roll in most afternoons, which is to say there is a regular feeling of apocalypse. The clouds turn a dense ash black as though nightfall has arrived hours ahead of schedule. Lightning that looks like it meant to split the sky. Thunder that will make a glass tremble on a table. That's the synopsis. Sounds suspicious. I mean, I'm completely intrigued. Two more. The first one is Elliot Gish's Gray Dog. Look at this cover. Also very cool. This one will come out in, April 2024. It might be out already. It's a submersive literary horror novel that disrupts the tropes of women's historical fiction with delusions, wild beasts, and uncontainable power of female rage. It was kind of giving Night Bitch, and I don't know if that's accurate at all, but maybe it's the red, maybe it's the female rage. I don't know if it's true, but submersive literary horror novel, like those were buzzwords for me, and I immediately chose it. Then Caleb won this book, actually. It's All Things Are Too Small by Becca Rothfeld. This is essays in praise of excess. So this is like, you like minimalism, this is maximalism. Caleb chose this because he is more on the side of minimalism, and he thought it'd be fun to read this and sort of like challenge what he actually believes. But I know this book has already been published. It was this month in April. But yeah, I think that's actually it now. Oh, stickers. Stickers from Wild Geese. Most things take longer than you think they will. I thought that was really cute. Bookish Betty. Beauty fades, but my jokes are eternal. If I go missing, look here first. I got 2 of those. And then listening counts too, because yes. I also got this cute little notepad. It says do it for the plot, and I absolutely love it. I love a good notepad. Then I got this little like writing coach in a box. It just has little cards that guide you with leading questions if you're ever stuck. And I think that since I'm not like classically trained in like English, I didn't study English in college or anything, I think that something like this could just be nice for me. So I got it. That's almost 50 books. I don't know, it might be 50 books. I have to recount. I think I messed up. About 50 books we just got. We supported so many small businesses. That was the point of this. Such a great idea from my friends at Tamara Bookstore. It was so wildly successful and it was so fun to be able to participate even if it wasn't that week. I still went to as many stores as I could in 3 days and it was so much fun. It was really a great time. I hope that you guys had fun following me along. If you are still here, then leave me the sparkle emoji down below in the comments. And I thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. Please do subscribe and like the video down below. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.